Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. In this episode of the Heavyweight Havoc, we once again continue the preliminary matches. Mr. Slippy's Wild Ride faces off against the scary, if somewhat unreliable, Accretion Disc. Will the mass of Mr. Slippy's bar smack its way through Accretion's chassis, or will Accretion's spin speed send Slippy soaring to the heavens? For our rumble, we have Ossidax, Pickle Prick, and Power of Reading. Will obesity prevail, or is knowledge truly power? Or will the double vertical spinners of Ossidax prove either one is outclassed in this dance of death? And for our final fight, we have Dropshot vs Maceface. Dropshot so far has had no convincing performances, being pitted by the tables have turned, and being a non-factor in the rumble with Anatalode and Hacapolita. Can it finally claim its first win, or will Maceface, the terrifyingly strong hammer robot, crash right through those hopes and dreams with its deadly mace? All of that and more on this episode of Besiege Bots. Let's head into it with our first matchup. And so we begin with Accretion Disc. It lost its first match quite unluckily to Hacapolita, but then won its second fight against Ichania, and now it stares down the biggest bar in the competition from Mr. Slippy's Wild Ride. Mr. Slippy beat Royal Seal and the Lukey Twins to get to 2-0. Let's see how they go. And off they go, both robots immediately up to speed. Accretion Disc aiming into the bar, misses. Slippy bounces onto the bouncing plate, Accretion Disc coming back in. Oh, big hit from Accretion Disc there, sending Mr. Slippy flying across the arena. Some not so good camera work there. Mr. Slippy got back up. Another big, really big hit from Accretion Disc as Slippy spins out of control, gets back up, spins up. Huge hit between both robots right there. My goodness, the impacts are massive right now. Decent hit from Mr. Slippy there, chasing as Accretion Disc tries to get up. Oh! But Mr. Slippy explodes. So all Accretion Disc has to do now is get up, and then it's a victory for Accretion. It's got to do it somewhat quick. There it is. And that is, I guess, a win by technical knockout for Accretion Disc. Slippy kind of did that himself, but that puts Accretion at 2-1, and Mr. Slippy also at 2-1. And so we begin the rumble. Ossidax's first match was against Phantom, and it resulted in an 11-second pick KO, so that was an easy victory for Ossidax. It now faces Pickle Prick, who lost its first and only match so far to Wolf Boy. I guess the dog ate the burger, but there is another contestant for This Is Our Rumble, and that is Power of Reading, who lost to Anatalode and Mega Miner, and now really has to start getting wins to make sense. And off they go. Ossidax immediately focusing the burger. Power Reading kind of hanging back, seeing who targets who. Burger's running away. Pickle Prick actually targeting Power Reading there. Big hit between the two. Oh, Power Reading loses his head. That's not ideal. Power Reading staying out of reach. As Pickle Prick is kind of stationary. I don't know what's happening there. Okay, it moves again. Decent hit from Pickle Prick there on the side of the frame of Ossidax. Power of Reading comes back into frame. Ooh, gets hit there by Pickle Prick. A white brace comes flying out. Oh, double big hit. The motor on Pickle Prick has been ruined, but one of the spinners came flying out of Ossidax's chassis. So already a shitload of damage has been done in this fight. Ossidax coming around to the back of Power of Reading. Power of Reading does not want to be there, trying to get out. It's just trying to be a box pusher. Big throw from Ossidax. Ooh, cutting the bun in half. As, yeah, the top and bottom are disconnected from each other. Ossidax now chasing Power of Reading. Power of Reading running away, trying to chase the burger instead. Ossidax does not have the grip to push around the bun of Pickle Prick. Pickle Prick almost onto Ossidax's spinner, getting pushed around by Power of Reading. Ossidax is chasing Power of Reading. Oh, there's the KO shot on Power of Reading, for it has no self-right from that position without a weapon. So it's between Pickle Prick, who is motorless, and Ossidax, who only has one spinner left. And as I say it, Pickle Prick gets flipped over by Osedax's spinner, and that is going to be the match. I guess, convincing KO for Osedax, double KO, and that means Osedax is 2-0, Pickle Prick at 0-2, and Power Reading at 0-3. And so we have a matchup between the unlucky ones. The Lukey twins are 0-1 because they lost their first match to Mississippi's Wild Ride quite violently, and they now face Scarab, who lost its first Rumble where Humpabump completely dominated the pace. Let's see who can get their first win in this match. And off they go. One of the Lukey twins immediately gets stuck on the floor. Scarab already has one in its grasp, just needs to clamp down now. There it is. Scarab scoring some control points as the other Lukey tries to get him off his colleague, his partner in crime. Scarab is actually the one to take some damage there. I think it lost a suspension off the back that is intended to keep the robot somewhat level. Ooh, a good flip from one of the Lukey twins there. Scarab gets back up though. He's trying to turn around, but one of the Lukey twins is pretty much preventing him from doing so. having a fair bit of trouble here to try and get... There's another clamp. Yep, there it is. Scarab pulling one of the Lukey twins away as another Lukey twin comes in from the back again, trying to get Scarab into a worse position here. Succeeding pretty well, I would say. Scarab with the pushing power and the weight, though, pushes itself out of the corner despite attempts at flipping from one of the Lukey twins. One comes in from the back, side-ish, misses the flip. This is what I mean by that somewhat bad team collaboration, as one of the Lukey twins just slams the wall and then finally his teammate is released without any work from it. As one of the Lukey twins flips Scarab up but then flips itself, then gets in the way of its teammate. Some very questionable driving from one of the Lukey twins there. They're in control of Scarab right now, though. Scarab needs to get out of there. Both Lukey twins are pinning it between them. Oh, that's close. I think one of the Lukey twins is about to go in. Yep, one of the Lukey twins is in. Scarab gets in the self right. Lukey twin not giving him any space to go anywhere, though. Almost drives itself into the pit. Goes for one more turn here. Trying to position for a pit, I think. There we go. In it goes. Not quite. Lukey twin does not have the drive power. As you can see, the left wheel is spinning vigorously. And there it is, but Scarab is Scarab's a bit thick. So instead of being KO'd by pit, it's going to be counted out. If it reaches 10 seconds, then it is still a pit KO. That's how we rule this, and that is time. And that is a pit KO for one of the Lukey twins. And that means the Lukey twins are now at 1-1, while Scarab has to unfortunately take another loss and is at 0-2. And so begins our next matchup, X-Maniac, who won despite a relatively unimpressive performance. It now faces a robot with a really terrifying performance, Terabyte, who killed Maceface and won by judgment against Black Blizzard. Can X-Maniac stand up to this abuse? And so we begin. X-Maniac coming out quick. Oh, no, pauses right in the middle of the arena. That's exactly where Terabyte wants to fight, so he's completely okay with that. Terabyte, once again, going to the center of the arena, staying far away from the hazards. X-Maniac with a hit on the top shell, no real damage sustained on Terabyte's end. Terabyte's biggest worry is that X-Maniac can hit the motor on top, but if X-Maniac does not hit that, there is no worry. X-Maniac is just honestly driving horribly right now. I have no idea what the driver is thinking. He is scoring 0 aggression. There's another good hit from Terabyte. It already lost a wheel at some point. I don't know when that happened. The camera must not have been on it. As X-Maniac now humps the wall. Like, what is X-Maniac doing? It's just kind of chilling in the middle of the arena. Big hit from Terabyte. And X-Maniac loses another wheel. And we gotta see if he can still be mobile with only 2 wheels on one side. Probably not. No, there is a lot of friction on the right side of the chassis now that there's no wheel supporting that side. probably getting counted out as we speak. And there it is, that is a cease, and that means that the Terabyte wins by KO after, once again, a very lackluster performance from X-Maniac. X-Maniac at 1-1, Terabyte at 3-0. And so we begin the next matchup. Phantom has really not been doing too well this tournament, lost an 11-second pick KO and exploded on a wall, and now has to face Strong Arm, who ooted and destroyed one of the favorites to win, Hackapalooza. Let's see how these two match up. And off they go. Both robots up to speed, Strong Arm staying in his square. And the first big hit is there. It's not that big, actually. For some reason, Phantom is running away. The big horizontal bar spin is running away, but there's a big hit from Strong Arm, because Phantom is just kind of sitting in its place, not really approaching. There's finally an approach from Phantom. Gets a sort of side hit there, no real damage done. Strong Arm's frame has taken a little bit of damage because it is wobbling, but it is still fully functional. Again, we just see Phantom literally sitting in the middle of the arena doing nothing, missing with a horizontal offset bar spinner. I mean, he's facing Strong Arm, but he's not moving towards him. In fact, he's moving away from him, scoring negative aggression right now, as Strong Arm is chasing, trying to get to the side of Phantom, which is very easy because the driver just doesn't drive, as Phantom gets its head cut off by Strong Arm. Strong Arm is a little wobbly, so he's having some trouble maneuvering. Maybe he's taken some more chassis damage than we can see. Phantom is just honestly being driven really poorly. To be fair, its weapon is gone now, so it's a lot harder to drive it, but it's still not a good performance here. Strong Arm definitely with all of the momentum in damage, aggression, control, everything. Phantom is trying to push into it, can't really do much else except attempt to wedge with like a flat surface. Doesn't really work out, as we can see right there. Phantom gets back up though, as Strong Arm comes right back in. Ooh, there's a devastating hit from Phantom. Not Phantom, Strong Arm, my apologies. As Phantom is now really struggling for movement. I'm pretty sure this is getting counted out as we speak, and that is going to be it. And that is another fairly decisive KO victory for Strong Arm. Strong Arm, one of the more impressive rookies at 2-0, and Phantom at 0-3. And off we go with the last matchup. Drop Shot really needs to start getting a win in after his disappointing performances so far, but it now faces one of the more scary hammer robots in Mace Face. It lost its first matchup to Terabyte, but can it beat through Drop Shot? And off they go. Mace Face immediately going to the center. Oh, gets a huge hit! An absolutely massive hit on Drop Shot right there. Struggling to get up though, as we expect from Mace Face at this point. But yeah, rips out the entire weapon system from Drop Shot. Drop Shot with some decent control now though. There's another good hit from Mace Face. Mace Face gets back up. Drop Shot scoring some control as Mace Face jumps behind it using its hammer mechanism. Oh, and there goes what was left of the motor mechanism on Drop Shot's overhead drum spinner. The arm is still there, but not much else. Drop Shot pushing to the side, Mace Face aligning, gets another good hit there. Oh, Drop Shot is overthrown. I don't think it can self right now that also the other arm has been taken off. Is that going to be a KO victory for Mace Face? It looks like it. Yes, it is. And that means that Mace Face wins by KO in like, what, 30 seconds? That was a very good KO. That's 1-1 for Mace Face, 0-3 for Drop Shot. And that's it for episode 7. Terabyte is following through with its scary shell spinner, sitting pretty at 3-0, while Ossidex and Strong Arm are not far behind at 2-0. Accretion Disc sends another one into space and bumps its record up to 2-1, while the Lukey twins and Maceface grabbed their first wins and now sit at 1-1. We sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would like to get in on future tournaments or just generally competing against other Besiege Bots, be sure to check the description for our Discord link. From everyone in the Besiege Bots Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.